Hello, welcome back. Today, I want to talk a little bit about my meditation journey, how I discovered meditation, how I practice, and what meditation has done for me. I don't have anything written out. I'm speaking extemporaneously. So, my thoughts may be a little bit disorganized. If so, I apologize. Pardon me. My eye itches. I've been asked to do hand movements. I don't really know what kind of hand movements to do. I might try to do some while I am doing this today. I don't know if it will help you, if it will feel good, but I hope that it will. All right. Without further disclaimer, let's get started. When I was a young man, I was very emotional. As you may remember, I am autistic. I was diagnosed in my 30s. When I was young, autism spectrum disorder wasn't really something that anyone ever spoke about in the area where I lived. People understood autism to be a profound disability, and they believed that those affected with autism had no hope of ever learning to speak or live on their own. That was just the state of the knowledge at the time. So the idea that I might be autistic never occurred to anyone. As a result, I grew up having no idea why I was so different from other people. If you want to try to imagine what autism is like for me, think of a time when you were uncertain about how to comport yourself in a social situation. Maybe you had to meet a new person, or maybe you had to give a presentation and you were nervous. Maybe you were confused because somebody chose a strange turn of phrase or tone of voice, or because someone's mood seemed to change suddenly and you weren't sure how to understand what that meant. Think about that and imagine that it never ended, that every social encounter was like that, no matter what anyone said to try and reassure you for the rest of your life. Most people get nervous sometimes, and usually the nervousness goes away. Well, imagine if it never did, because of the way your brain was wired, your neuroanatomy. That should give you a little bit of an idea what autism is like for me, or at least one way in which autism is like for me, because it is a multi-system condition that affects mainly the central nervous system, but also every other system in my body. So, with that said, as an autistic child who had no idea what was going on, I went every day out into a world that I couldn't hope to understand or that I could only understand a small part of, and everyone else around me seemed to understand without even having to try. And because they didn't have to try, they didn't know how to tell me what I needed to understand. Because they grasped things intuitively, they couldn't explain how they grasped them. I'm also a survivor of child abuse. So not only was I a confused young man, I was also an angry young man. And I was angry for a very long time. And I thought, when I was young, that I would grow up and be normal. That's what I told myself. And that everyone around me would grow up too. And that because I had been told that it was expected of me that I should be articulate and responsible and intelligent, that everybody else would be that way too, because that's the way the world had to be. So when I grew up and that wasn't the way the world was, I was even more confused and even more angry. And I didn't know what to do about that confusion, and about that anger, and about the overwhelming emotions. I hadn't been taught how to cope with my emotions. I had only been taught, if you are angry, don't be. If you are mad, or rather if you are afraid, don't be. If you have any kind of bad feelings, just don't have them. Just be happy. Well, understandably, I hope, that was not good advice. So I found myself in my 30s, and I'm 42 now. I found myself in my 30s feeling lost, angry, depressed, and emotional. Feeling like my emotions didn't mean anything. They didn't amount to anything. Nobody cared how I felt. And I couldn't act on any of the feelings that I had. I couldn't take revenge. I couldn't get anybody back for slighting me. So I felt ineffectual. And my brother is a world traveler. He goes all over the world, work backpacking, and he's seen many wonderful places. And he's taken some really good pictures of all of those places. He was a Buddhist at one point. I don't know whether he still is or not, but I don't think that he is. And he used to live in a Buddhist retreat in Oregon, in the Pacific Northwest. And while he was there, he learned a lot about meditation. So he introduced meditation to me. Or he introduced me to meditation. And we shared some books. We had many long conversations about Buddhist ideas and mindfulness. And after he and I stopped talking about things like this, I continued to search for information about these things. And after I had learned a lot, I decided that I wanted to try meditation for myself. So I sat down and closed my eyes and waited for something to happen. I closed my eyes for 30 minutes. I listened to my breath. I paid attention to the sound of the breath in my mouth and to the feeling of the breath in my chest and to what my body did when I breathed. And I became aware of all of the thoughts in my head warring for my attention. My thoughts racing, and I thought, how do I cope with this? How do I silence these thoughts? And this is something that a lot of people who are just starting meditation have a problem with. And I will tell you what I have learned over many years while studying and while meditating. Now, I have not been formally trained by anyone. I've never sat with a great meditator. But meditation does work for me, and I will try to explain how. I had a friend once who told me that he wasn't interested in meditation because he didn't want to silence all the thoughts in his head. He felt that he needed that cacophony, that it made him productive. And I tried to explain to him that you don't need to silence all the thoughts in your head. What you need to do is learn to let the thoughts happen without assessing them. Learn to let them race by while you sit apart from them in your mind. I'm talking about images. You sit apart from them and you let them rush by. And you can think of it like this if you want. You're sitting beside a stream. You can hear the birds around you. And you can hear the water. And you can see it rush by. And you don't have to control the water. You don't have to look at each individual droplet of water and say, is this a good droplet? Should it be here? What should I do about this drop of water? All you need to do is watch the water go by. You're not in charge of the water. And you can think of meditation in those terms. You can think of your thoughts as the water rushing by. You don't have to interrogate every thought. You don't have to say, should I be having this thought? Is this a good thought? What can I do with this thought? You don't need to do that. There may be something inside you that says, but if I don't do that, then I will have bad thoughts and I won't be able to do anything about them. Or I will have important thoughts that will slip away. And I can promise you that thoughts happen every day, every minute, every second, your whole life, or as long as your brain is capable of producing them. Thoughts are like appetites. Even if you lose one, another one arises. You don't have to answer that sense of urgency that says, I need these thoughts. I need to look at them. These are my important papers. I need to read every word. You don't have to do that. If you let your thoughts go by, when you are done meditating, they will still be there. They will not leave you. You will not be mindless. You will not be sitting in a world that needs you to act and not acting. Meditation isn't just sitting still. It isn't just relaxing and ignoring things that need to be dealt with. Meditation can help you relax, but it isn't about relaxation. Meditation is about attention. The most important resource you have is your attention. Most people would say, the most important resource that I have is time, and I always want more time. But if you have all the time in the world and you can't attend to anything, then that time is of no use to you. I apologize that my neighbor is pulling out of the parking lot in his very large blue truck right now. I hope that's not distracting to you. Distraction is one of the things that takes people out of meditation when they try and figure out how to do it. How do I deal with distraction? This feeling that I need to analyze every thought. This feeling that if I'm sitting and I'm being quiet and I'm paying attention to my breath, I'm not making anything. I'm not helping anyone. I'm not being productive. How do I deal with the feeling that being calm is an indulgence? And the answer is return to your breath. Every time, return to your breath. When you first begin meditating, when you sit down and close your eyes, it's easy for a fraction of a second or for a few minutes. And I say, go back to that beginning. Every moment is the beginning of your meditative practice. And this is true whether you're sitting in meditation or whether you're trying to live a meditative life. Because meditation isn't just about sitting and focusing on your breath. It's also about how you move through the world and how you move through relationships and how you handle things that happen to you. Mindfulness goes hand in hand with meditation. And mindfulness is, simply put, being where you are, focusing on what's happening right now, not looking ahead to the future, not thinking about the past, trying to relitigate old mistakes, things that you wish you would have done better. Mindfulness is about being where you are right now and understanding that now is all you have. Now is when your life is happening. And now goes by so fast. Fractions of a second. Mindfulness is being now. Being on purpose. Not waiting. Not waiting for anything. Not waiting for the next thought or the next experience or the next feeling or the next problem. Just being where you are, doing what you are doing, experiencing what you are experiencing. And I hope that by describing meditation and mindfulness this way, I can help you begin to see that meditation is not about laziness or avoiding your thoughts. It is about focusing on what's happening right now. Focusing on your breath and letting all of those racing thoughts just race. Just be a person with racing thoughts. You don't have to say, I'm frustrated that my thoughts are racing. I can't concentrate and I'm upset. That's not unusual. That isn't a special thing that you are alone in feeling. Thoughts race. That's what they do. That's the only way they manifest. So sit, breathe normally, and let your thoughts race and be beside them, or beneath them, or separate from them. There they are. There they go. And I'm still here. I'm focusing on my breath. I'm feeling the sensations of sitting wherever I'm sitting, my clothes on my body, my muscles in whatever posture, whatever comfortable posture I've chosen for myself. That is how I practice meditation, and I arrived at that over the course of many years. Now you might meditate on an idea, such as loving kindness. Some people practice loving kindness meditation. And if that's something that you find that you can do, if you can meditate on an idea, then do it that way. I can't do it that way. I have to be, in order for meditation to help me, and by that I mean, in order to prevent myself from becoming distracted, I need to hold no ideas in my head. I let the ideas race away. I don't hold them. Meditation is personal. You will find a way that works for you. The last thing that I will say, and I hope that I have done a pretty good job here today, is that meditation isn't a vacation. It isn't going to India and sitting with your hands like this in front of the Taj Mahal. Meditation is a lifestyle. It is the lifestyle of being where you are deliberately, being attentive to just this moment, and allowing yourself to have thoughts and feelings that cascade around you without you saying, I need to stop these thoughts. I need to stop these feelings. Meditation isn't about stopping. It's about continuing. And how meditation has helped me. Yes, it has helped me accept things exactly as they are. And I know that many people would say, there are a lot of things in the world that need to change. We can't accept everything exactly as it is, or we will allow terrible things to happen. And I understand that. And I will try now to explain my response as clearly as I can. Understanding or seeing that things need to change, and seeing how you might begin to change them, or perhaps seeing whether you can even change them or not, is part of accepting things exactly as they are. Meditation has helped me to see things exactly as they are, and to let my emotions happen without struggling with them, and understanding that there's more me behind them. When they're gone, I'm still there. If you would like for me to explain more about all of this, just let me know. Maybe next time I will write something. I just didn't want to be looking off camera the whole time. But I feel that I have done a pretty good job saying all of the things that I thought of saying before I sat down to record. Try today to sit with your eyes closed, breathing normally, focusing on your breath for 5 minutes or for 10 minutes, today. Try it. Every time you feel yourself starting to analyze the stream of your thoughts, come back to your breath. Remember, every moment is the first moment. And let me know how it works for you, how it feels. I firmly believe that everyone can benefit from meditation. All right. Thank you for listening, and I will see you in the next video.